Matt Lenihan for Boxing Social in association with William Hill and Empire Fight Store. Delighted to be joined by Johnny Nelson. We're here, Joshua Buatsi Fight Week. I feel like it's been a while since we've seen him. You're looking forward to seeing him back in the ring, back on Sky Sports?
I am actually. I think for Joshua Buatsi, getting back in the mix again, taking more control of his career. This is a great statement. Excellent opponent to do it with. Nothing's a given. What I rate about Joshua Buatsi is the fact that he's made that move with Virgil Hunter. And he's committed to that job. It's not an in and out job. And I think we're 3-4 fights in with Virgil Hunter now. So slowly but surely we'll see the transition, the influence Virgil has on him. And I rate Virgil massively as a coach, and I don't think Virgil's going to waste his time on anybody. So I think all we can see is improvement for him. And again, Joshua's in touching distance to do what he's got to do, but he's got to get some momentum, get his fan base back up again, get that familiarity back in the mix again.
What do you want to see from him that we've not seen yet? We've sort of seen, I feel like we've seen a certain amount of his talent, and we're still waiting to see that extra maybe 30% that we've not seen that he's got, but we're waiting to see it on display.
Totally agree. I think he's a good finisher. I think he's a good boxer. The two have just not married up. Sometimes where he just needs that breakthrough. Remember, he's still unbeaten. He's still beating fighters that are out there, but there's just something missing. That vavazoom. I don't know what it is, but still. I think Virgil Hunter is probably the last piece to the puzzle that he needs to turn into that fighter.
He seems like he was getting a bit upset with the people saying he turned down the Bivol fight and things like that. What do you make of that?
I think it's bullshit. I think it's easy to try and cast that aspersion to say a man's backed out or he's turned it down. And so he's his own business. So therefore he's going to make the right business move what benefits his career. So when people jump on that bandwagon, and that rumour's been set about that he turned it down, you know what? Sometimes it's good to lose a battle to win a war, and so for him, you know, he thinks, you know what? Yeah, I want this fight, but I want this fight when I'm ready for this fight. When I'm ready, when I've been consistent with fights to step in. So don't say you've offered me X, Y, Z, a ridiculous amount of money. It's like taking a man off the street saying, well, you turn it down. We offer you the sun, moon, and stars. This guy's taking care of his career, and his time will come.
Let's see what happens. There's a couple of cracking fights on the undercard, by the way. Tyler Denny, Macaulay McGowan, I think could be fighter of the night. What do you make of that fight?
I think that'll be a really, really good fight. I'm actually really looking forward to that. And I think if anything steals the show, that will be on Lauren Price as well. A great fight as well. That's for the British title again. So that'll be a really good fight as well. I'm looking forward to that one.
Coming away from this fight card, there was an article in The Guardian. Hauser wrote about Anthony Joshua and wrote about bravest thing could do is retire. What do you make of them comments, and have you seen the article written? Because I was a bit surprised about Thomas Hauser.
I've not seen the article, but that line of a comment there anyway, from who wrote the article?
Thomas Hauser.
Okay then, so you're talking a guy that loves the history of our sport, but he's never really done it at that level. He hasn't done it at that level. He's never got in the ring, got smashed in the face. He's never had that addiction of training, of fighting, of doing whatever. Anthony Joshua's got to answer questions he has for himself and tick those boxes, and only he has the right to make that decision about his career. We can all have our opinion, but I think Thomas Hauser is listen, it's a headliner, we're talking about it. Realistically, I don't think he has any right to actually, or any insight to actually say that. This is the Anthony Joshua call.
Do you think as well, when you look at it, with all the boxers that we see about who maybe have been fighting for a long time, and look at the likes of maybe a Derek Chisora who's been in them wars and he loves it and he's sticking around and stuff like that. Anthony Joshua, aside from say knockout loss to Ruiz, he hasn't really taken what you'd say sustained punishment for a heavyweight. So does that surprise you?
Exactly. So I'd understand that comment when you're talking about Derek Chisora. I don't understand that comment when you're talking about other various fighters. But Anthony Joshua, he hasn't. He's lost. And when he's lost at the highest scale. So therefore, and everybody's entitled to a loss. Everybody's entitled to be put in a position where they think, you know what, let me see if I can learn from that. Let me see if I can come by that. If he was talking, he couldn't even get his words out. Couldn't even tie his shoelaces. You can see the mental deterioration, physical deterioration on the fighter. I totally get it. What you're commenting on, you're just commenting on your opinion of where his career is at the moment. Anthony Joshua is still a fighter that's still got something to give, and we're hoping that the penny will drop where everything that he's achieved, everything that he's done will fall into place.
Talks of Deontay Wilder in December. I know Eddie Hearn said once that's papered, he wants to move back into July and find a fight for July. Talks of Dillian White. You think that's the correct move?
Dillian White, yes. Deontay Wilder, I'd make sure you're getting paid a shite load for that fight, because that's not a done deal. I think Anthony Joshua showed his vulnerabilities, and so therefore a big puncher like Deontay Wilder, you've got to make sure you've got everything together. There's no second chances there, because if you get sparked by him, then he's got to think to himself, how much do I want this? Where am I going to go? He's not that kind of fighter.
Talk to me about Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia. Great spectacle, two guys in the 20s. Talk about how the fight ended. Ryan Garcia took a little bit of criticism, and I know it's hard because people commenting it like myself who aren't fighters saw him go down from the body shot, and we know it can be a delayed reaction, but then everyone said, look, by the 10 count he got up like almost instantly. So tell me about it.
I would prefer to get knocked out cold than get done with a body shot, because you're still conscious. Your body's disabled. And it's easy for people that's never been hit with a body shot to say you should have this, you should have that. If you've ever been crippled to the point where you can't move, you can't breathe, you're trying to style it out, you're thinking, let me just move my feet a bit and get a bit of air back in my lungs again, and your lungs just quit on you. You think, you know what? It's fight or flight. That's where instincts kick in. So when he went down on me, if I'm honest with you, I didn't see the shot initially until I saw the shot, and when I saw the shot, it was a full-blooded. The body was in the shot, the left hook was in the shot, in the sweet spot. So when you're hit with a shot like that, unless you are hit with it, you will never be able to comment on it. Unless you've had a body shot, you will never be able to criticise and give someone a hard time. Ryan Garcia, he took the knee. He knew it was a shot that disabled him. He thought, you know what? I can't carry on. I can't carry on. He lives to fight another day. He'll step up a weight, and this young man will carry on and be a star.
What do you think about Gervonta Davis? I think seeing him in person, he's a better boxer than I thought he was, a lot better than I thought he was. Don't think TV maybe does it justice, but who would you like to see him in with next? A lot of talks of maybe a Devin Haney if he sticks around 135. Obviously Shakur, I believe, is moving up now. So many good fights to be made.
I think the obvious one would be Devin Haney. That's another big
mega fight,
bums on seat fight where he'll get paid for his talent, paid for his skill. I think Davis is proven, you know what, don't test me. Because if I'm honest with you, I thought Ryan Garcia, even though he holds his chin up in the air, he's got the power, he's got the speed, he's got the arrogance, he's got the confidence and self-belief. My man just chopped him to pieces, chopped him down, pressured him on.
In terms of Ryan Garcia, do you think he's still got the ability? We know he's split from Joe Goosen. Surprised a little bit because the way they both spoke about each other in the build-up. I know you're not going to speak negatively, but Joe was talking about how good a trainer he was, and you know, one of the best camps, the best camp he's ever had for a fighter, and he's trained the likes of, you know, Diego Corrales amongst other fighters. What's next for Ryan Garcia? Do you think he still fulfills the potential of being world champion? I
do. I still think he has that potential. Steps up a weight where he's comfortable, where he's strong, where he can hold it. He's an exciting young individual where if he'd have won that fight, he would have gone up into the stratosphere because he has that crossover appeal, and so he's that guy. So now stepping up a weight, he's just gonna have to lick his wounds, and then just getting back to the mix and win a white title a bigger way.
Top Rank recently won a purse bid by a mere 15,000. Callum Smith, Artur, Beterbiev. Let's forget the purse bid. Let's talk about the fight. Great fight. Beterbiev, we saw what a monster he was in previous fights, but particularly against Anthony Yarde, who gave it everything. And Callum Smith's been punching with bricks in his hands since he's moved at that weight. What do you think happens in that fight? A great fight.
I think it's an excellent fight. I think Callum Smith is an unbelievable talent. Callum Smith, you cannot write him off. He's not loud, he's not in your face, he's not brash. But I think Callum Smith, get him in there at his weight, where he's comfortable. I think this could easily be his fight, but he has that punch power. He's at a point in his career where he's now fighting like a hungry, desperate man, an ambitious man still at this stage in his career.
We've got a reporter out there in Charlie who's covering Canelo versus John Ryder. Seen the media from this week. It's a huge turnout for the homecoming of Canelo in Guadalajara. I spoke to Spencer yesterday. He says, look, we're not going to write John off, he says, because he's got arsehole for his words. Eloquently put. What do you make of John's chances over there? Obviously going there into his hometown, but Canelo in itself.
I think John's chances are slim, but they are not none. I think Canelo is not the fighter he was, but the fighter he is. I think still edges out John, and I love to back a Brit. I love to say, you know what, they can get this done. It's not an impossible ask for John, but it's a tough hill to climb because you're in against Canelo. That's it's on turf. You know, this guy is getting the job done. Ryder has a great opportunity here. If he lost, he'd lose with. He'll give it his heart and soul. You know, and he'll lose with pride.
If it isn't to be John Ryder, would it be a case of Benavidez being the best fight? We saw Benavidez deal with Caleb Plant, who Caleb Plant will fight anyone, and he's proven that before. He's always calling out big names. Would you like to see Benavidez versus Canelo next if Canelo gets through?
I think Canelo has clearly got a path. He'll probably want to get a rematch first of all. With
Bivol.
With Bivol, he'll probably want to get that done, and that'll hit his pride, hit his ego. That'll surely be in his sights. But then again, Canelo is in a position where he can pick and choose. Canelo's in a position where he can call the shots, and he's one of the few fighters actually bigger than most belts. So he can fight who he wants.
And finally, Conor Benn, paperwork finally into UKAD. It's took a while, but we seem to be finally what seemingly looks like coming to an end of this saga. It's gone on for 7, 8 and a half, 9 months. Pleased to finally see the paperwork in so that we can hopefully reach a proper outcome soon.
I saw an interview by Conor basically saying, you know what, I'm an emotional guy with my heart on my sleeve. I understand where the public's coming from now. I've had to look back and see it. I get where they're coming from. So and I think maybe his reaction to the public saying, believe me, even though the evidence in there, believe me, it's probably not done him any favours. So he stepped back and thought, you know what, I get where you're coming from. I still possess my innocence, and this will not be the end of me. So this man's got to get on with his career. He spent too much time out the ring where he should have had probably 2 fights, 3 fights. You know, it's just, in my opinion, take the ban, move on, get on with your career. So at least there's some kind of final line drawn through this.
Who would you want to see him fight if he is to get back in the ring? It looks obviously Chris Eubank Jr. is fighting Liam Smith again. Who does he fight in the meantime? I know talks of Pacquiao, but
Junior fight is always there. It's always there. It always will be there, regardless of what happens with Smith. It's always there, and I think Chris has got that in the back of his mind as well. He's just got to wait till Conor's in the position to fight, and that's Conor's he's a name. And there are some fights, even stateside, that he can get involved in. So I think he can still cherry pick to say he's been in such a situation.
All right. Well, look, Johnny, I appreciate you giving us some of your time. Let's look forward to what's going to be.
Anytime, brother. Anytime.
Appreciate it. Oh, I thought you were cutting me off there. I thought you were going to go, oh no, just a minute. No, look, I appreciate your time. We'll catch up after this fight.
Sweet, man.